If you try to get back in the market, though, let's say you can't, they cancel, right? They're out of the market. They're not going to be able to get the house. How hard is it to, one, obviously there's going to be a battle, and it could be mediation to get that EMD back, the earnest money deposit, if the seller wants to be real, stickler about it.
I think it should be pretty straightforward. It's only $5,000, and so that's small claims. So it should be simple. But more importantly, I don't enjoy being in this situation because the agent trusted me. I told them what was going to happen, and they trusted me. And now I'm going to have to make the call and say,
I would say the buyer agent probably looks the worst on this. I'll tell you, because you got to look at it that the buyer agent is representing the buyer, and if the buyer doesn't work out, well, they're going to say, did you have that work out? You don't think so?
Because I am a conduit of getting stuff done.
That word again.
I love that word.
Conduit.
Because then if I say to myself, I'm the conduit, then I'm just like the channel, and it's nothing to do with me personally.
Well, no, nobody's saying that. I
know,
I would agree that.
But I do take it personally, Kit. I take it personally, but I just have to be straightforward, and that's how I can make relationships out of bad situations.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to represent your client's interest too.
At the end of the day,
I mean, no choice.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just a bad place to be, though, and it's one of those things. Now, let's say that they do get their earnest money back, and let's say they're back and they're trying to buy a house again. Are they going to be a little bit more, discouraged, walking out there going, "Hey, let's make another offer"?
No.
And plus, you got to really get that financing in place because look, at the end of the day,
the whole deal could be a scratch.
Yeah,
because of the financing.
It actually gets them a little more confidence because now they know exactly what to prepare for in that type of situation. And if they had any issues with the financing, now they can prepare for that in for the future purchase.
That's true. I don't know if I would go that route, though, where I'm going to go through where I'm risking that to learn that, because you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a hard thing to put yourself in and say, oh, I learned from that. But I get what you're saying 100%.
Well, he's the optimist at the table. Come on now.
Right?
you got to have him.
Right?
You got to turn it on its head somehow.
But I mean, you look at the market. So are you seeing a slowing in the market right now? Are you seeing things start to slow down a little bit?
That I tell my clients, good news, it's not white hot, it's just really, really hot. Because there's been a slight step down from white hot to like really, really hot.
I would agree.
And what is that? That's about an extra week or two.
Yeah, or it's only 3 offers instead of 20.
Exactly. So
that's
positive.
good news,
The house is still selling. It's just not.
But that's good news because we need more properties where there's less offers, and we're starting to see that, right? I mean, a lot.
Why is that? Why is that happening? I think it's like a natural thinning of the herd.
Well, I think in Vegas though we have this ebbs and flow monthly kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we're in that down right now. And
the last quarter's busier normally.
Yeah. So usually, that's interesting because December is usually a crap month. But if you buy a house,
why is it a crap month?
Just holidays.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean personally, or you meant like business?
Business. My point is like we have this market right now, and it just is the way it is. From July to September 1, it always slows just a little, and then it picks back up September, October. October is usually the busiest month.
So, especially school. I mean, people aren't looking to switch, right? I mean, that'd be
they wanted to buy earlier so then their kids could go to school in that district by the time. So they bought in June.
Yeah, when you saw the rush going on. Yeah. I mean, I think you're probably going to see this flatten out, then probably tick back up again in a few months. I mean, I think that's kind of we're back on normal market forces without the COVID correction.
Now, if we lock down again, though,
right?
We're not going to lock down. Are we?
I don't know.
Who's talking like that?
I want to talk to David about something here, David. So
Matt thinks
you've had some situations recently where you've had a lot of buyers backing out or cancellations. I'm not saying this is a trend that's happening across Las Vegas. What's happening with your situations though? Like, why are buyers? I'm sure there's different reasons, but tell us what's happening over there.
Well, it's just that that one buyer that's in the new home build situation that we're trying to resolve it. I mean, we have plenty of time. It's not going to be completed until December, so I think we're going to get it resolved. We just have to find the right avenue for this buyer. And I think a lower down payment, they're still going to get into the property, and then eventually they, like you said, they can refinance down the road and things like that. So I think we'll find a solution for this buyer down the road because we have plenty of time. And I think just every buyer is case by case. they have different situations.
Yeah, I mean, but does this seem like is it people just canceling or backing out right now because they're just not certain that this is the house for them, or there's just different things happening that is unforeseen? Like why is I'm not saying they're canceling all together, like everybody's canceling. It's just just seemed like there's more of a wave a little bit, I guess, of being a little bit of a slower market, and you're seeing some buyers just wanting to back out for different reasons.
Yeah, it hasn't been any personal reasons. It hasn't been the buyer where they want to back out and get their money back out. It's always been either a financial reason or some relocation with the family and things like that. So, I mean, as far as that goes, I think it's a combination of things with the market. Like they said, back to school, people are traveling. COVID kind of opened up. Now we're kind of closing back down, but it opened up in the middle, the beginning of the month. So we had a combination of things that caused a little bit of a slowdown.
Do you feel the market's slowing down?
Well, I think just for this quarter. And then, like you said, we're going to start ticking.
Well,
back
do you
up
think
a
it's
little
going to be a quarterly thing, or is it because of the people going back to school? Maybe everybody's maybe see the prices if they're going to settle down. Maybe there's not a lot of homes. I mean, there's contributing factors, right? But is it just because of it's just this time of year? I mean, I guess.
it's this time of the year. It's a combination of things, and I think the only thing that's going to, if it's going to make it worse, is that the second variant, right? The Delta variant, whatever that is. If we get
The English variant, I believe.
huge wave,
It's a bad curse word.
if that thing cranks back up, then who knows? That's an unforeseen thing that we don't know what's going to happen. But if that doesn't come back, we're going to see it go back up.
Yeah, this is not like a market where everybody can just predict or can count on a certain trend of something happening. It just seemed like there's always a hiccup on something. Again,
You know what's interesting about that? Because you talk about economics, right? You kind of realize that really what controls everything is just people's thoughts.
Perception
That's
of
literally
reality.
what economists.
Perception.
How much am I going to make? If I feel like I'm making a bunch next month, I'm going to spend a lot of money. If I don't, so it's all psychological. And I think what's interesting with, I have no idea how this is going to play out, is COVID is one thing. If you were to ask anybody in 1819 that this virus would come out and be pretty bad, but not crazy bad, this is, compared to other crazy outbreaks, would everybody shut down, stay at home, and not leave? They'd say, like, that's insane. That wouldn't happen. But as we've gone through it, you kind of realize, hey, this world isn't as nearly predictable as I once thought it was.
So I got stuff that's come out that said it's worse, right? Have you guys seen anything that it's worse? Not just on the housing market, just the overall the pandemic is not that it's worse where we're shutting down, but the people getting it is just as bad, if not worse, than when we first started. That's some of the data.
Who knows?
Everybody has their own opinion.
It's a video game.
It's like who you ask.
Yeah. So to me, it's just kind of crazy how that fear, like you said, that fear can dictate what's going to happen in this housing market. It's going to dictate what people believe.
And that's my point. If you bought a house when you were 22 back in 06, now you're 34. You have this housing thing happen to you. You have this weird thing with the pandemic. You're like, tomorrow could be anything.
But then I don't understand why they don't sell. See, that's what my brain is like. Okay, if you're that afraid,
because you want to
sell it.
Yeah, because you want to buy it.
Yeah, but then sell it. Well, yeah. But a lot of these people that sit there, I don't know. I feel like if they were that afraid, they would sell it, cash in on the equity, rent, and then if they really feel the market's going to go down, let it go down. And I see some people do that. Some people do that.
I also think too, there's a lot of people out there that have they do research, right? And they probably feel like they got a pretty good grasp on what's going on in the market.
No.
But
I took Finance 402, which was financial predictions, right? Or
like modeling.
Yeah. I learned one, you need to have a lot of calculus to understand how to do those issues. Number two is you cannot financially forecast. It's basically what the professor taught. This is pretty much impossible, what you're trying to do. So when people do research, it's like...
Because you can get so skewed
Tell that
off
to the Bitcoin people.
with one little thing that's wrong, and then you're in
You can't... Think about what would happen next year, right? There are literally trillions of variables and so many things. There's no way you can create a model to account for that. So you say, I think the housing market's going to crash, assuming X, Y, Z through, a million remain constant. All these, which never happens. So it doesn't matter
the
how much.
conclusion is just buy the damn house and live in it. That should be
The conclusion is, can you afford it? Do you feel like you can, they got a stable job, you have no problem making payments for the foreseeable future or whatnot? And if so, and you want to buy it, then buy it. But quit this game of like going up and
Yeah,
down.
but it's a big investment for somebody that's buying their.
It shouldn't be. It should be used as a commodity.
If you're buying a property, that's probably the biggest investment a middle class person or upper middle class person does make in their lifetime. I'm not saying that, but that's a big decision, right? So as the prices keep going up, yes, should you get into a house? I think so, but it's also got to make sense. You can't be mortgage broke. You can't just put yourself in a position where your family's not going to.
Well, that's why I said, can you afford it? I didn't say
Right.
go mortgage. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
Right.
And you're not going to have fairy tales come and help you out.
And I think one of the biggest factors we're talking about is consumer confidence, right? And how does that play a role? And especially in today's world, we're all connected, right? So back in the day, people weren't as connected. Now, consumer confidence can be manipulated within seconds on a global scale.
With a tweet.
Exactly.
A tweet can
That
change
tweet.
the entire global
We're talking
economy.
about the 80s and 90s where neighbors were talking maybe, oh, my house is going down, this and that. Now with a single tweet, the entire planet is connected.
There's so much conflicting information. It's almost like, how do you make the right decision, right? And I think that's where people are looking at. Do I make the right decision by buying now? Matt makes up a good point. He has clients come out and you're representing them well. But I think a lot of people just don't know, like, is this the right time? Should I wait? If I did back out, can I get into another house? So I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of uncertainty.
Well, of course, you're
on
talking
every
about
level.
forecasting.
Well,
But based on the knowledge that we know and how we see things going, I think everybody in this room is kind of come to the conclusion, like the likelihood of this going down substantially.
There would have to be a black swan event.
I mean, another crazy COVID.
100%.
But that's not even related to COVID.
Something out.
World War III starts.
Yeah,
like,
COVID
I mean,
didn't
like
COVID didn't even bring down the market though. It went up 20%. So it's like, if you're afraid of
So what does that tell you, right? So we had a pandemic, and then the consumer confidence was still there by a home. So I guess the question is there anything that's going to, like, we know that people get derailed when they're buying a house, but will there ever be a point where consumer confidence really starts to lose itself with going
I hope
into,
not.
you know what I mean?
I hope not. But I guess the only advice that you can give it to anybody is you should just talk to a professional. If you're really that afraid of the market, talk to a professional that knows what they're doing day in and day out, and they will quickly show you the data on that it's not going to crash. I think that would be the best thing you could do.
think the reasonable, logical consensus out there in the community is that this thing's not going to crash. By the way, if for some reason World War III did start and it did crash, doesn't mean the people descended are correct, right? That just means they got the low odds, right? They hit the bingo, right? That doesn't mean that they're making the decision from an intelligent point of view. The intelligent point of view is like odds are very high that you're not going to see a substantial crash. Does that mean it's like 100% it's going to happen? No, but that's not how you make decisions in life. You can't. Nothing's 100% certain.
Thank you for watching an episode of the French Workbench podcast. If you want to tune into past episodes, please subscribe to my channel now. Also, if you want to look at our audio-only options, we do have iTunes and SoundCloud.